Hello, people. Uh, Let me just say that it is hot, like hot, hot, for unnecessary reasons. And really, it's just humidity, but it's hot, and thus I don't have my robe on uh, at this moment. So, wanted to just jump on and share a little bit of my experience over the last, I don't know, right? It's in the season that I'm in, right? So I was just sitting here thinking about how much I really want to be taken care of, right? So when I think about my intimate partner, marriage, long term relationship, I think about how much I love being taken care of. And not so much financially, right? Financially is cool. Like, I want you to, buy me stuff. And, like, I love that stuff too. But when I say taken care of, I mean, like, things related to chivalry, right? Opening my car door, letting me pick the restaurant, seeing a need, right? And taking care of it. Oh, I see you need your grass cut, and I don't have to say nothing. That's why these chairs are such a big deal, right? You see my chairs? Look at my chairs. Look at them. Look at them. Still geeked about those chairs. Anyway, um, I love being taken care of, right? And when I was just sitting here thinking in my God time and, uh, talking to Him, I was just thinking about how God is like the best husband ever, right? So, one, I've never really seen God as a husband. My view of God has changed over time, right? And in this season, I'm able to see Him as a husband like never before, right? Because of His ability to provide for me, right? In so many different ways. My ability to go to Him in my quiet time and He actually show up, right? Like, so I've had lots of prayer time, right? But God's presence is always, I don't want to say it's always different, but maybe my ability to tap in is different. And so I don't always get the same thing every time that I'm in my prayer time. And it just so happens that I'm in a season where I'm being comforted and like in a deeper level, and I'm hearing His voice in a clearer way. And so that's one thing that it feels like comfort, right? It feels like my ability to get in my Father's lap, or my ability to be next to my husband and lay my head on his shoulder. That to me feels like He's taking care of me, right? And I just think about he, how much I've never really given Him the opportunity to operate as a husband, because it requires so much trust. And it requires so much consistency. And it requires being vulnerable, right? When I think about, I was just on the phone with a friend of mine the other day, and I was telling her a little bit about what God said and, the season that I'm in right now. And she was just like, man, I need to talk to God like that. I need to hear from him. I hear from Him in signs and different things, but I need to hear Him like that. And I get it. Like, there have been seasons where it is not like this, right? But I think it has a lot to do with what I allow, like, God is such a gentleman in that He doesn't railroad us, right? He does not make us or push us or force us to do a thing. He allows us to move, at our own pace, and He presents opportunities. And so I think that I have missed the opportunity to be taken care of and be treated as His wife or as His daughter, or whatever, picture that you have, because of my lack of trust and my lack of vulnerability and my lack of consistency. So those are the three things that I think of when I think about how my relationship with God has gotten deeper, right? And I think about how He has been providing, listen to me, providing all the way from the house that I live in to my son's tuition. I have a 20-year-old son who's in college, and I don't got enough income to be supporting no private school tuition, and yet it's getting paid, right? The money that I put in to start my business, I don't got that. Listen, I couldn't make that up if I wanted to, but God has provided, right? Also, when I think about just hearing his voice. And when I go to him and say, this is bothering me or this is hurting me, and his ability to say something in response, like all of that feels like provision. And particularly I'm learning in this season to go to God with my concerns about whatever. Like I'm always going to God with my external concerns, like food and money and job and, that kind of stuff. But it's harder when it's internal, right? So loneliness and anger and, feeling unloved and blah, blah, blah. Like I can talk to you about it, but I don't always feel the comfort. And in this season, I am learning how to go to him about the things that I'm struggling with internally, and seeing him show up the next day and the next week and in a multitude of ways. And so it just feels like provision, right? It just feels like he is wrapping his arms around me and loving on me like never before. I remember hearing a lady say, she was prophesying or preaching at a church, and she was talking about how she loves a hero, right? Like she loves romantic stories. And I'm like that, right? So I love the movie Just Right. I love Love and Basketball, like that, hero kind of thing. I love it. And so I was just thinking about how much I've longed for that provision and care from my partner or from a mate, when really God has like superseded my expectations if I had just thought of him in that way, right? So those are my thoughts for today. There is no greater love than God. I promise you that. People will fail you. But God's love is incredible. It has the ability to heal, to provide, to move you through. So hopefully you got something from that video today. I'm out. Peace.